pleasant good morning, one and all. Good morning, and welcome to the Wednesday's episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Welcome, one and all. Welcome to this Wednesday. Today, Wednesday, the 7th day of August in the year 2024. We welcome you to this episode and encourage you to share the live, let people know that we're on. I noticed that we have lots and lots of students in the schoolyard, but some people might still be coming late, so call them, let them know, because we scheduled the program just about 7:17 this morning, just after 7, and people poured into the schoolyard immediately. And so share the live, let them know that we're on. We have so much to tell you this morning, so much. But let me start out by telling you, informing you this morning, we're going to have a truncated session. We're not going to go the usual 2 hours because, as you may have known, or you were told, today is the funeral of a dear friend and the national shooting champion and the West Indies shooting champion, Ransford Goodluck. As a matter of fact, the viewing at Merriman's funeral home was to be this morning between 10 and 10:45. And then the body goes to the Police Post Club, Eve Leary, for further viewing. And then funeral service will be at Christ Church in Waterloo Street from 1 o'clock. So we have to cut short this morning to make sure that we are represented and that those who want to go there get the opportunity. Well, today is another day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. It is a privilege to be in the land of the living. My colleague, Mr. Conway, is already in the studio and he's raring to go for us to bring you the information. So again, apologies, we're not going to go the usual length this morning, and we're going to do away to some extent to the roll call as well, because we are pressed for time today to bring you the information and to make sure that it is disseminated. Now, in terms of the roll call, I'm just going to announce the early ones. When we scheduled just about 7:17, immediately all came in immediately at 7:16 rather. And then he was joined by Kenneth, then Derek, then we had Ian and Wayne. They all came in at 7:18. Joan came in at 7:18. Francis came in at 7:18. Peter, 7:19. Anka, 7:19. Courtney, 7:19. John came in at 7:19. Tessa came in at 7:19. Debbie the same time. Puran the same time. And that's the extent we'll do with the roll call this morning. And we are going to go straight into the announcements. I just announced the death funeral arrangement for Ransford Goodluck, my shooting buddy and friend who is going to be buried today. As I said, the viewing this morning was at Merriman's funeral home from 10 to 10:45. And then right now it should be at the Police Post Club. The body should be at the Police Post Club, Eve Leary, for further viewing. And then the body goes to the Christ Church in Waterloo Street for funeral service from 1 p.m. Funeral service from 1 p.m. So again, I say, may soul rest in peace and rise in glory. Now, moving on, birthdays, belated birthdays, 2 belated birthday greetings. A very good friend of mine, Neil Barry, former national cricketer, celebrated a birthday recently. And woman inspector, I think she is, Shamkin Miller. She had a birthday recently as well. Birthday greetings to those persons. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we're gonna go straight into the details of today's program. CC, welcome, my brother.
Morning to all. Praise God, we're in the land of the living and to do God's work. And as you mentioned, that we're going to cut short a bit because of paying our respects to good luck. So let's get on with it.
Yeah, let's get on with it. And the first thing we want to start with this morning, and the last program, we identified some of those matters that have been outstanding for a long time, and we're not getting an update and a feedback for it. We started with the GDF helicopter crash, remember that? We talk about the police sergeant Alex Vaughan, who was shot and killed on the 12th of March, on or around the 12th of March. Nothing, you're not hearing anything. We talk about the police superintendent who was sent on leave for allegedly sexually assaulting a male rank. Then we had the businessman arrested for putting the woman gone, the new businessman, nothing. And then people reminded me that there were other matters to be highlighted too. We had the incident, the alleged incident with the son of the acting commissioner, the extended squatter. Colin Aiken was set to, on March, he was arrested on April 7th, where he claimed that outside the Cheers and Beers bar in Alexander Street, he discharged a loaded firearm, an illegal loaded firearm. A security guard there arrested him, and the police from Kitty intervened. He was taken there. He was released on bail. We haven't heard anything yet further on the matter. That is April this year, April this year. Then we had, who can forget the incident at Linden where ranks were caught on tape assaulting a businessman. Somebody kicked one of the ranks, kicked the businessman about his body on camera. It's there on camera. The follow-up to that, we understood that OPR, the Office of Professional Responsibility of the Ghana Police Force, would have been investigating. Nothing further. One rank was placed under close arrest, we understand. Nothing further. And then, remember, this, not so long ago, it was in May, there was a report in the news that 2 ranks from Kanu were arrested for abducting or kidnapping a Brazilian businessman over some murky arrangement. And the allegation was that the man was kidnapped and the man was he was being extorted. They were arrested. This was admitted to by the head of the Custom Anti-Narcotic Unit. And again, that was when? That was in May of this year. Nothing, you're not hearing anything further. Then not so long ago, we heard about the allegation that 2 men dressed in police uniform robbed the man of $10 million GBTI just opposite the U.S. Embassy. The update on that, we learned that 1 man was arrested and I think he appeared before the court, but we're not hearing anything further. And in that matter, if you remember, when the police issued the release, the police said that the 2 men dressed in police uniform and wearing masks robbed this man of $10 million. The victim who was robbed said that he never told the police that these men were wearing masks. He said that the men were in police uniform. And the strange thing about that, they said that the people escaped on 2 motorcycles on an unknown direction. So right away, something wrong. And then not so long ago, in June, we heard that a police sergeant from Vredenhoek was said to be the mastermind in the housebreaking incidents across West Demerara. He was arrested, they say, placed under close arrest. Nothing, we are not hearing more. We have not heard anything more about that matter. And not so long ago, they reported that Chinese nationals were held over gold smuggling. And they say about 40 million Ghana dollars were seized from these Chinese men. Nothing more. And of course, people said the money was a larger sum than that. And the question was asked, how do you arrest men for gold smuggling and you seize gold? Well, you seize $40 million in cash Guyana currency. So those matters we got to continue to ask questions about. It is time that the police come clean and update the public on what is going on. It is time the media operatives ask questions about these and other matters. They come up and then they are swept away. We don't hear anything. But I am going to keep a note and I'm going to keep asking questions about that. I'm going to keep asking questions. And yes, Commissioner Cole, I should have mentioned yesterday was the 39th death anniversary of Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham. They don't like hearing the name. Some people don't like hearing the name. Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham, the first executive president, died on March 6, 1985. Yesterday was the death anniversary. So coming back here, let me bring in Mr. Conway with all these matters that we're not hearing anything about. Perhaps he can tell us something. He's a man in the loop. He's a man in the know. See what happened to all these matters that we are not hearing anything about.
Well, we got to continue highlight them. We have to continue to highlight them because they will push them or dash them under they get a red carpet on unsolved crime. They just push them under there and left them there. But we gonna raise up the carpet so that we can expose them. And there are many other matters too, but from time to time we will bring them forward, man.
Yeah, we're gonna continue to find out. We're gonna continue because they talk about transparency. They use that word very often, transparency, and apparently they don't know what is the meaning of that word. You have matters that are reported. You have a responsibility if you're transparent to update the public. This is what has happened. Policemen placed under close arrest for various offenses. What has happened? The Vaughan case is perhaps one of the most egregious. Policeman shot on duty. They said, what friendly accidental fire. Since March of this year, March the 12th, this man shot and killed a policeman while on duty. Initially, it was said that a constable was placed under close arrest. He apparently was the person who fired the rounds because the postmortem revealed 3 bullets entered the body. And you cannot hear anything further about that matter. What is the story? The matter went, we were told that the file was sent to the DPP, and the DPP sent it back to the police, I assume, for further investigation, and nothing, and they're talking about transparency. And the next thing they talk about, CC, only recently, the Attorney General talking about corruption, how you can call Soku to investigate corruption during the APNU plus AFC reign. Some $134 million cannot be accounted for, some $2.5 million. But since the AG want corruption to be investigated, let me point them. I mentioned it on Monday. Let me mention it again. Luxury Auto Custom and Detailing. This is a company by the name of Luxury Auto Customs and Detailing. Between Monday when I first spoke about this and now, I made some inquiries. And I was told that this company is owned by a relative, the brother-in-law of a minister of government. The minister was recently in the news. The brother-in-law owns this company. I am advised that the brother-in-law imbibes and limes with a former very senior police officer. He's seen in the company of this former senior police officer. This is the owner of this company, Luxury Auto Custom and Detailing. And let me give you some quick details. I mentioned some on Monday. On January 24, 2023, this company was paid $95,000 for one vehicle, 89 PYY 8940. And this vehicle is a vehicle that was attached to the Ministry of Agriculture, PYY 8940. So on the 24th of January, $95,000 for steaming and buff polishing of this vehicle. The same day, 24th of January, this vehicle, the company was paid $138,500, let's say, for tire treatment and engine wash of this vehicle, PYY 8940 and 2 others. Tire treatment. I am still to find out. I'm trying to figure out what is tire treatment. Perhaps some of you guys and you students here might be able to enlighten me because I can't figure out what is tire treatment. And then on March 22nd, the same vehicle, detailing and tire treatment, $138,500. So it had tire treatment and work on the 24th of January, then again on the 22nd of March, and then in May, listen to this, on May the 17th, 2023, internal steam shampooing of PYY 8940, $824,000. Let me repeat that. On the May 17, 2023, internal steaming and shampooing of PYY 8940, a vehicle attached to the Ministry of Agriculture, $824,000. And then on June, there's May 17, June the 30th, detailing and tire treatment of the same vehicle, $165,300. Then on August 15, 2023, same vehicle, internal detailing and general repairs, $279,300. Then same vehicle, that is August the 15th, I just told you about, $279 for detailing, internal detailing. Now on August the 17th, 2 days after, external detailing of the same vehicle, PYY 8940, for $144,780. And then on September the 20th, External detailing of the same vehicle and a couple others, $203,340. Then done there. October the 16th, internal steaming of this vehicle, $74,100. And then on November the 24th, external detailing of the same vehicle, PYY 8940, $169,860. And then the last for the year for that vehicle, December 27th, 2023, internal and external detailing, $156,180. As I said, that's a vehicle attached to the Ministry of Agriculture. At least it was attached then. And it had done there. That is one. There's another vehicle, PYY 994, attached to the same ministry. On January 24th, internal treatment and engine wash, along with two others, $138,500. March the 22nd, tire treatment and detailing, $131,000. On April the 14th, 2023, body works on the same vehicle, $586,940. 4 days after, tire treatment, $140,500. That is that and another vehicle. Then on May the 17th, installation of alarm, $160,000. August the 16th, internal steam cleaning of the same vehicle, $142,500. September the 20th, 2023, external detailing of that vehicle and three others, $206,340. October the 11th, 2023, external detailing of the said vehicle PYY 994, $150,450. Then on October the 25th, 2023, steam cleaning of the same vehicle, $83,220. And then on November the 14th, 2023, same vehicle, the spray paint the bumper for $393,300. The one vehicle, one vehicle. And then here, this one here too. As I said, it's Ministry of Agriculture. Ministry of Natural Resources get a vehicle. The vehicle number is PXX216, PXX216. On August the 9th, this vehicle was maintained, they claimed, and the cost was $270,000. And then the next day, maintenance again of the same vehicle, $193,800. And then on the 24th, which is 2 weeks after, maintenance of the same vehicle again for $346,252. Those vehicles belong to that vehicle belong to the Ministry of Natural Resources. And then the next alarming one, Ministry of Public Works, PMM 4755. PMM 4755 attached to the Ministry of Public Works. They changed a battery. I don't have the date here. $200,000 for changing a battery. $200,000 for changing a battery in PMM 4755. So when you hear the Attorney General talking about investigating corruption, perhaps you could want to tell SOKU to investigate these ministries. And these are not the only ministries. Ministry of Home Affairs listed. Ministry of Social Security and Protection, wherever it is, that vehicle, they have vehicles there. Some alarming costs. And a man told me yesterday, a businessman friend of mine, said, well, you just detail vehicle, perhaps once a year, you detail a vehicle, it will cost. And he said that when he takes his vehicle to be detailed, internal and external, taking out the seats and everything and doing a proper shampooing, it has cost you about $40,000 to $50,000 once a year. About $40,000 to $50,000. And here it is, this vehicle. And this is, as I said, this is one of the alarming one, right? This 8940, May 17, 2023, internal steaming and shampooing, $824,000. The records are there. These are not made up figures. Me haven't made them up. They are there. And you want to tell me these things have not attracted the attention of the Auditor General and other people? These massive sums for cleaning a vehicle. I got a vehicle, a Prado, and that is considered a big vehicle, right? And when I take it to get it well washed and the engine treated with Amaral and so on, it is $2,000. If I wanted, I remember on one occasion not so long ago, I added shampoo and buff and thing external buffing with machine and all them type of thing. It cost him, I think, $4,000 or $5,000. And you have these people paying massive, hundred and something $1,000. And look at the frequency. Look at the frequency. As I said, January 24th, polishing, $95,000. In the same day, treatment of engine and washing, $138,000. Look at the one at the Ministry of Natural Resources. On the 9th of August, maintenance 270,000. On the 10th of August, maintenance $193,000. On the 24th of August, maintenance again for $346,000. And then you have a vehicle, Agile, your name Colin, Public Works, PMM 4755, some tire for $200,000. Well, maybe if you're in security, you might know they got what they call for these presidential vehicles, not in Guyana, but the beast where the president of the US drives in and those vehicles, they get what they call run flat tires. Run flat. So the tires can't puncture. They can't puncture. So even if they're in a situation and people were to shoot at the tires and so on, it's run flat. So maybe it's run flat tires they're using on these vehicles. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? And a man here in the chat, and he does body work and so on, and he's telling us now, $4,000 can give you a quality buff. Quality buff. That's basic polishing. $4,000. And these people putting in account and are being paid. And I said that these people, this man, I got his name, but under some more research. Luxury Auto Custom and Detailing. That is the name of the company. Luxury. Mr. Nandalal, head of Soku. The name of the company is Luxury Auto Custom and Detailing. The man is said to be the brother-in-law of a minister of government. This minister was recently in the news. In the news, you get your clue. He is said to be a close friend and associate of a former retired senior police officer. I said former retired. I know you are going to tease me. A retired senior police officer, a very senior one. And he thing. It is said that this same man, let me give you more information. This same man was charged, and I think for backtracking some years ago. You know what is backtracking? Backtracking is what the people call in fancy language, alien smuggling. Same man, the owner of Luxury Auto Custom and Detailing. So y'all want to investigate corruption? If this is not corruption, I don't know what is. If this is not corruption, I don't know what is. Steaming a vehicle and shampooing a vehicle, $824,000. $824,000. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. He's a man with numbers, so maybe he can do a little magic to explain how all of this money is spent on these vehicles. Go ahead, my brother.
First thing, I didn't hear you say Marie, you know.
No,
Oh, the
because
way
I
you
am telling a Nancy story, I am not telling a Nancy story, right? This is fake. These are figures that are there. Figures that are there. If they go to the Ministry of Finance, they can see it. They can start the investigation in the ministry. First of all, to see if these vehicles are indeed attached to the ministry, and they could take it from there. Yes, go ahead, my brother.
and if you look at the numbers there, you know, they could actually buy a new vehicle instead of selling it all the time there, you know. But as you rightly mentioned, you know, there's a thing that the Attorney General got to look at, and you got to look at the Sue issue too.
Yeah, this thing's so glaring. Rampant corruption. Rampant corruption. Well, yeah, Umi, the speaker said you can't use the word corruption. And I think he said I must use the word apartheid in parliament. I am in parliament. I'm not in parliament. So I'm going to use it because it is rampant corruption, rampant in this government. Rampant. Their friends, their family, their favorite. And another F that I told you about in Monday. It's a hyphenated word. The first letter is F. And the last word is up. That is what the F's. Friends, family, favorite, and F-ups. That is what is going on. And then what happens? When you talk, they come after you. For speaking the truth. For speaking the truth. Again, I call on Soku, or maybe they're waiting for the dog whistle from the vice president who's going to come. Maybe tomorrow he will seek to address this. Maybe the media people will ask him about this tomorrow, right? Or maybe the attorney general will send out the dog whistle for them to go and to investigate these ministries. And these are only some. The information suggests that all or many or most of the ministries have vehicles that are taken to this one place. One place, luxury auto custom. Well, let me say this. People are saying the suggestion is that the vehicle are not even taken there. These invoices are prepared and are submitted, and payments are made. Payments are made. Vehicle not a go. So all these things we hear they say about tire treatment and so on. Somebody said tire treatment is when you take little armoral or you rub it on the thing. I couldn't believe that that's what they're saying. That's tire treatment is. That is what tire treatment. So every time I take my vehicle to have it washed, I get tire treatment. They wash the tires, and then they take armoral and they rub down the tire and get it a nice shine and so on. Armoral and other stuff to time. That is what tire treatment is. And this we're paying all this money, tire treatment, detailing and tire treatment, $138,000. And they're talking about corruption. They're talking about corruption. Well, they can talk about it because they know about it. They are involved in it. They are involved in corruption. I have never seen so many instances and evidence of corruption as we are seeing now. Don't forget the police. $17.5 million, $16.5 million Brutus deposited to the credit union. That it is alleged that when they searched his office, over $100 million found. It is reported in the media that the banks freeze or they froze the account belonging to him and his wife. Froze his account. And that's what is going on in the place. And they're not investigating. We're going to talk about that because up to now, we're not hearing anything further. Now, yesterday, when I gave the notice to this program late, I said that we're going to talk about the shake-up in the Guyana police force, the recent shake-up that occurred yesterday. You know, that's so long ago. About a month ago, they told us that there were some movements. The older police can understand when they talk about movements. And let me tell you, at one of our officer conferences many years ago, the special constabulary headquarters, I think there's a sports secretariat or somewhere there now, that building in there's Parade Street, right? I think it's the second building in Parade Street there on the eastern side. Special constabulary headquarters used to be there. And they had a pond where they were rearing tilapia. And when Larry Lewis questioned the man who was in charge then, how the thing is coming, he said, I'm not sure, but every time I look, I see movements. And I said, movement is crapo, you see. So when we old police talk about seeing movements, the man say you see movements is crapo, you see jumping in the pond there, and so on. So there are movements in the police force, and they told us that those movements were facilitating. They use some fancy phrase, I can't remember, but they're telling me that what really is happening then is to facilitate better management and so on. So Brutus, who was at admin, was moved to special branch. The man special branch Watts was moved to operations, and the man in operations Budram was moved to admin. And they came with some foolish explanation that it had to do with is a management tool to give people exposure and that sort of thing. And we said BS. And then in the same thing, they said, if you remember, that because shortly thereafter, boop, we hear that Brutus, let me go find the thing, that Brutus got on leave to facilitate some investigation. I get it somewhere. I can look for it just now. That's what they told us. That Brutus requested to go and leave immediately to facilitate an investigation because he didn't want to bring the name of his force into disrepute. He made his application to the extended squatter, and it was approved in the normal manner. Let me tell you, that is nonsense. That is nonsense. People don't apply for leave immediately and approved by the commissioner. When an officer or inspector applies to leave, the public service ministry got to approve of the leave, not the commissioner, whoever that person is. So right away, we see through the thing. Now, yesterday, now even before yesterday, Mr. Kamil was telling us, and I told you, of this big war that going on between the crime chief, Assistant Commissioner Blanham, and Parshram, who was in charge of Regional Division 4C, that's East Coast, with Officer Scovanjan. Big letter writing. Big letter writing. You know, I saw one of the letters, 8-page response, where the man tell you about the wife going to station and throwing she away the rug and all them type of thing. So we learned a few weeks ago that Assistant Commissioner Parshram, who was the commander of Regional Division 4C, proceeded on annualized vacation leave. He applied for leave and he proceeded on leave. Now, it is being reported that yesterday, when he resumed, he got joked down, as we the police would say. He got joked down. He is now sent. Let me read. I don't normally read this because this man, this thing, whatever it is, can't write properly. But I can take the chance and read what it wrote, the thing. The Assistant Commissioner of Police, Khalil Parshram, has been relieved of his command post at Regional Police Division 4C and is now posted as head of the Strategic Planning Unit of the Guyana Police Force. Parshram received his reassignment letter from Assistant Commissioner Administration Ravindra Budram. No, they're coming around. He said Parshram, the thing said Parshram received his reassignment letter from Assistant Commissioner Administration Ravindra Budram upon his resumption to work following a brief period of leave. More, the Guyana Police Force regards the reassignment of officers as a management tool to ensure efficiency. Marie, hear what it says. The Guyana Police Force regards the reassignment of officers as a management tool to ensure efficiency. Then it goes on. Recently, there was a war, quote, recently was a war of letters, end of quote, between Assistant Commissioners Parshram and Wendell Blanham over the placing of bail, that's what it says, placing of bail of a man who was in police custody. I tell you, you can't write, she can't write, it can't write, the thing can't write. So it's over the placing of bail. Then it goes on, the Criminal Investigation Department handled the matter, and the divisional detective had received instruction from the crime chief to place the man on bail. Divisional detectives are assigned to each division but report to the crime chief. I'm going to address that. God, that is BS. Unadulterated bullshit. It was noted that when Parshram became aware of the development, he instructed that the man should not be placed on bail. That resulted in an exchange of strongly worded letters. Based on the rank structure and the composition of the force, hierarchy structure, and he was saying, tell you I can't write, you know, it can't write. Based on the rank structure and the composition of the force, hierarchy structure. So we talk about rank structure and hierarchy structure in the same sentence. The police special branch, administration, operations, and law enforcement officers are superior to those held by regional and branch commanders. Bullshit, unadulterated bullshit. I'm going to address that further. The tone of the letter from Assistant Commissioner Parshram to Assistant Commissioner Blanham was regarded as insubordinate. Bullshit. Bullshit again. This is so, given that Blanham's office is superior to that of the commander's office. BS. Then it goes on to say it is unclear if the letter exchange had anything to do with the reassignment of Assistant Commissioner Parshram. Now, before I bring you cease, let me battle a bit more, man. This bowl is sweet. So let me knock some of these bars to 6. Absolute nonsense. Let me start first where he said, where the thing it said that Guyana Police Force regard reassignment of officers as a management tool to ensure efficiency. Not at that senior level, assistant commissioner level. No, sir. No, madam. That is not how it happens at that senior level. And I'm taking into consideration only recently, 3 assistant commissioners were reassigned. 3. There is a crisis in management of the Guyana Police Force. Let me understand it. And not only because we are saying it, the evidence is there. Money laundering, police smuggling drugs. There is a crisis in management. Guns lost from police station and hearing anything further. Allegation of money is being paid for firearm license. I am making these things up. It is there in the public domain. So when you're talking about reassignment of officers as a management tool, let me again say, When I was in the force in the days of Larry Lewis and long after, when you want to have postings, because technically, police jargon, you don't transfer inspectors and officers. Inspectors and officers are posted, and those posted are listed in part 1 of the force orders. Posting from sergeant down, they are transferred. That is the language that police use all the time. So you have postings, you have transfers. We used to have posting meetings. So the senior officers will meet, and we'll have posting meetings where we will determine that it's time to have rotations, and then we look at synergies and all of that. So if you're going to send a commander, let me say a commander is a superintendent, senior superintendent, or even assistant commissioner to a division, you will then look to see who you will put as the 2IC, because you want to have the type of synergies. If you assume or you feel that the commander might be weak in one area, you look for a person, a 2IC, who you believe is a strong policeman and so on, to support him. That is what used to happen. That is what used to happen, but then it was done away with. So don't come and tell me about efficiency. But in terms of the war of letters, yeah. And let me say this here now. I never said it before. I saw the letter. And Assistant Commissioner Parshram was correct. He was right. No CID officer, the man in charge, as this thing saying that the CID get command. No. Detective officers in the division do not report directly to the crime chief. The commander, the divisional commander, is in charge of crime, is in charge of traffic, in charge of everything in his division. So when a detective officer or officer in charge of traffic is assigned to a division, he comes directly under the divisional commander. He reports to the divisional commander. In this case, where if a man is in custody and the crime chief is aware of the matter, and he feels that the man should go on bail, he has to relate to the commander. You can't call no junior body under the commander and instruct for the person to be sent on bail. No, it don't happen the way. When I was commander, Barbies and other places, you had Leon Trim, deputy commissioner, was crime chief for one period. Floyd McDonald was crime chief on an occasion. They never ever did that, because they know the protocol. If a matter is going on in your division, they will call you. And you'll have a discussion. And then they might tell you, well, look, I'm asking that you should put the man on bail. And you, the commander, has to make the decision. There are no crime chief sitting at police headquarters, even if the matter is being investigated by CID. And let me give you the next thing. Let me tell you something else. CID really, they don't have, they got a hole in center, they got lock up. So when a person is held at CID holds a person, talk about CID headquarters, and that person is sent a division, is detained in a division. It is the responsibility of the divisional commander. It is the responsibility, the safekeeping, and to make sure the laws are followed of the divisional commander, not the crime chief. Not the crime chief. So if I used to have, we have what they call prisoner state. Every day you have a prisoner state, so you see who are the prisoners in the various lockups. And I used to make sure, is a CID prisoner, how long has he been there? It is there. If it is that the 72-hour period is near expiration, I will call the detective officer to find out from his counterpart, or I myself will call the crime chief and say, we're going on with this man, because I am not going to keep him before longer than 72 hours. Let me give you a next example. When I was commander A division, prisoners from the interior are usually brought out, prisoners from them remote location. Jamir, assistant commissioner, was in charge of, as it was then, E&F division. They would bring out prisoners, and I know there are difficulties. Prisoners are kept at Brigdam, but once they lodge the prisoner at Brigdam, they forget about it. So we call Jamir. We had a good relationship. Jamir, we're going with this man. This man is here for 48, going to 72. You need to do something. Okay, right. Okay, right. That is all I tell you. On one occasion, they had, I think, about 5 prisoners, close to the 72 hours. I told the man in charge of the number 1 subdivision there, put them in a vehicle and take them to his office. Take them to E&F division officers' headquarters. I am not going to be complicit in the violation of the law and the violation of a person's constitutional right. Take them there, let them deal with it. So this thing what they're talking about, as the thing is saying, that, what you say? That the division detectives are assigned to each division, but report to the crime chief. No, that is not so. The divisional detectives report to the divisional commander. A divisional commander is responsible for all policing activities in his division. In is the all police, all the transfers from station to station and all of that. Let me give you a next example. I'm going to bring you this economy just now. I was a young commander. My first divisional command was D Division, West Coast Demerara. The other, a guy, I can't remember his name now, Indian policeman. He made move. He got a tongue and make move to get transferred to Purika Police. Post order published that he is transferred to Purika Police Station. A man who is a colleague of mine, Ivla, was staff officer. I said that don't work. You can't transfer a man to a station in my division. You transfer him to the division. And I, as the divisional commander, will make a determination where he will go, and that's based on the need. But all of them things jump out now. You get a lot of commandos, not commanders. You have a lot of commandos. So, and then it goes on to say, the rank structure. Hear what they're saying? Hear what this thing said? That based on the rank structure of and the composition of the force hierarchy structure, the police special branch, administration, operations, and law enforcement officers are superior to those held by nonsense. It has to do with rank. It has to do with your rank. And let me explain this. The post at headquarters, you got a commissioner, they got a post called Deputy Commissioner Administration, they got a post called Deputy Commissioner Operations, Deputy Commissioner Law Enforcement, and the special branch man, the Head Special Branch. Head Special Branch. Now, how do they rank? You have the commissioner, of course, he's the person in charge. But thereafter, there has never been a definitive ranking between operations and administration. It has to do with who is the senior person. So if the senior man, let me say, you have two assistant commissioners, as we had when I was at operations. We had me at operations, you had Lakraj at admin. I was the second senior man at operations. That's the admin man. I, as the next senior man, was the second in command at that time. It has changed over the years because sometimes you have the man at admin being the senior man, and therefore admin becomes the senior position. And therefore you will have, in some cases, you have operations being the senior man. And there was a case, I remember well, when Joe Beckles, the late deputy commissioner, special branch, he was a senior man and the de facto second in command. When Skip Roberts was the deputy commissioner there when Larry Lewis took over, Skip Roberts was the second in command, the senior man. So this nonsense was this thing right in, whoever tell he or tell she or tell it or tell the thing that this rubbish here, that is not so. And even if you look at the administrative charge, what we call the scalar chain, you will see that nobody is senior to nobody, like what you're saying. They all report, they're on the same level, report to the commissioner. And then what I say, it is the tone of the letter from Assistant Commissioner Parjam to Assistant Commissioner Budram was regarded as insubordinate. You can't be insubordinate to your peer. There's a police accessor. You got the first section 4A. We're going to talk about insubordination. Section 4A of Chapter 1701 of the Police Discipline Act, Chapter 71, speaks about insubordinate to your superior in rank. And if all y'all hold the same rank, Blanham is not superior in rank to Parjam. So let me understand it clearly. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, man. I want back too much this thing. The bowl is sweet. But see, let me hear your view. Let me hear your view on this nonsense, what is written in this paper.
The whole thing boils down, to the president not making appointments to the deputy commissioner. I said before, I said over and over again, all the president has to do in relation to the Constitution of Guyana is that he has to get meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition and chairman of the Police Service Commission, who will have consulted with their members and make the appointment. He doesn't have to get agreement as with the chancellor and the chief justice. And there's where a lot of the problem lies, because policemen are unconscious. We have a whole set of assistant commissioners, and you have vacancies for 4 deputy commissioners, and the president ain't making any.
Well, remember,
Therefore,
CC, remember the minister recently amended the Police Act and the call law said 6 deputy
six.
commissioners.
Yeah, yeah. But I know they added two. Yeah. So the thing is that they're not making any, so they're fighting to get a piece of the pie. So the synergy isn't there. The cooperation isn't there. Everybody want to bet somebody. I gonna show up's gonna show up, admin gonna show up, CID, and they go down the line. And there is where the problem at the top lies, where you have Blanham can write Pasram. He completely out of order. He's completely out of order. Is the commissioner's got to write thing, and then big letter writing between them, and the extended squatter sits there. He gotta take on the mantle, call them together, and trash out the matter. But no, he allowing the thing to fester. He allowing to fester, war. And then when we look at the thing who wrote that article, you know that when, as you mentioned, when you're a divisional commander, you are in command, you are in charge, unless if this the CID man is a deputy commissioner and you're an assistant commissioner, well then he's bound to give you in instructions. And and if I'm assistant commissioner and another man's assistant commissioner, I cannot be insubordinate to them. I cannot disobey an order given to him, because the order has got to be given by a person in person who is higher up than you, by a superior in rank. So the divisional commanders, the persons who are in command, and I saw letters between Blanham and and the commander for the then commander for C, serious letter, where the commander, the person in charge of crime is going to call an inspector and tell the inspector, look, send this man on bail, without any reference to the commander in the division there. So the commander was the right to say, hey, me ain't sending nobody from bail. If you want to talk to me, you gotta talk to me. No inspector running this place, eh? You know what? And I think there's where it all started, where the crime chief call an inspector and send the person on bail in 4C. And Pastor was right to say, no, it can't happen. I'm in command here. And I can recall, when I was Commander Borbis, I used to report to Deputy Commissioner McDonald, I report to Deputy Commissioner Trim. And then when Sila Prasad became crime chief, he was an assistant commissioner. I never used to report to Sila Prasad, but I used to make sure that his detectives, I had Armstrong, I had Charles Allen, and I had Chapman, Marlon Chapman. I say, hey, you must report and make sure that you report to the crime chief. But I can't tell the crime chief things that you don't tell me, or in trouble. So I mean, it was matters that I want to discuss with the crime chief, but I'm not reporting every day to a man at the same level with me. And then probably there's what I mean. And as you rightly mentioned, also the present situation now is that admin, ops, special branch, law enforcement, they are all of the same ranks as like some divisional commanders. So nobody can give nobody other. And then I see Budram writing the man that he get transferred. Budram shouldn't write him that he get transferred. Budram writing an assistant commissioner. No. Or if you're writing, you gotta learn to crouch his language, that the commissioners direct that you be transferred, but you can't write it until he get transferred. That has to come from the commissioner. So many things, what that has gone wrong. And then they're talking, I'm surprised they use the word rotation, because the last time they said it was when they move around those people at admin, ops, and special branch, they say it was part of the rotation. Yeah, but they ain't rotate this time. Perhaps the word has dropped out. And you don't rotate people at that level. And what we gain? Strategic planning unit. Strategic planning unit. That's where we gone. And the person who was in charge of strategic unit has gone to strategic implementation for police reform. I'm going to talk more about that again. But the thing is that they got to look at the command structure and they got to look at the ranking. Assistant commissioner can't give assistant commissioner order. No way, no way. I agree. Assistant commissioner mean taken. And Paul, you mentioned a very important part here. You talk about prison state. I remember 2 days after I took over command at the Rumville police station as the OC Rumville, the then chairman of the Police Service Commission called me a morning about 9 o'clock, Donald Robertson. And he asked me about a prisoner or his client he had in the lockups. He asked me, and I couldn't tell him anything because I really didn't know. And he said, young officer, like you don't have command of your subdivision, like you don't have a clue what's going on. The chairman of the Police Service Commission telling me that, and promotion was in the air. So I apologized, and I later found out what the man was in the air, and I reported. And from that day, Paul, as subordinate officer, as commander, I always have a prison state on my desk because the prison state helps you to manage the division. You can say, hey, this man in there for 48 hours. This and you could show that hey, they have female prisoner at the lockups and they know women police there. And I used to tell them as long as female there at the station, automatically all them police turn trusty men. I say if I myself there, I turn a trusty man. So you gotta make sure how you deal with female prisoners and even juveniles. You might see juveniles in the prison state, or you might see that you get a man for robbery and arms and nothing there's no report of robbery and their arms. So talking about prison state will help you to manage your subdivision and manage your division because it gives you an idea in terms of what is taking place at the station. So this is nonsense with ACs, and AC admin, ops, special branch, and law enforcement, senior, senior to divisional commanders who are assistant commissioner. No way. They are all assistant commissioner, and no assistant commissioner can't give no assistant commissioner any lawful order. No way. You gotta be with a person superior in rank.
Now, well said. Well, let me say something more about that. It has to do with the relationship among these people. What type of relationship they had? I was an assistant commissioner in the ops place, in the deputy commissioner's ops position, and they had other assistant commissioners. I was senior by date of appointment to everybody else. And we never had them issues. Men wanted something, they would call me, and it's by first name. Other commanders, other assistant commissioners, myself, say, Paul, so. And we would discuss. They have an issue, they would call me, and we would have the type of discussion. But it is clear that that is not going on now. That is not going on. So that is why you get this problem with letter writing. Because let me tell you something. In a matter like that, where a man is in custody, let me say in C division, and the crime chief feel that this person should go on bail. If they were had a good relationship, he would have called the commander and said, Commander, look, this man in custody, Man, send him on bail, man. I don't think he send him on bail. Just casually. And they said, all right, man, yeah. But no way you're going to call the detective inspector and instruct the detective inspector to send the person on bail, thereby bypassing the commander. That is bypass. And as I say again, Parshram is correct to do what he did, refuse to send the man. Not like that. He must examine the circumstances himself and determine whether this man must go on bail. Not Blanham calling from CID headquarters and say send this man on bail. Because when anything go wrong, it's not Blanham going to answer the question. It's the divisional commander. And I think the divisional commander said so in the letter that he wrote, the long 8-page letter that he wrote to Bodram, to Blanham, sorry. And I'm saying that he is correct. I salute you, Assistant Commissioner Parshram, in the action you took. And here, let me tell you something. He has been sent to the special project unit. That is a park up. When you go to the special project unit, that's where they spark you. When they believe that you have infringed something, they park you up there. People like Edmund Cooper, the late Edmund Cooper, back in the day, Miss Steve Mirai and others are parked there. So there's a place where you sit down with nothing to do and all day to do it. Special project unit. It has civilian staff. I remember, man, on the program here, now Patrick was in charge there, but he was employed as a civilian to be in charge here. But when they send a senior police officer to that unit, it's mark time. I remember my commander as a drill instructor. It's mark time. It's a joke down the market. So now when they try to nice it up about rotation and all that type of crap for efficiency and all that, no, it is not for that. It is not for that. And let me say this, how the force is being run now. How the force is being run now. I could bet my bottom dollar that the extended squatter can't make the decision on your own. Let me repeat that. How the force is being run with political involvement and political interference. The fact that Pajam was moved so unceremoniously, joked down to the special project unit. The squatter alone by himself can't make the decision. You have to either call somebody or somebody call you and instruct you to do that. That is how the level of political interference in the Guyana police force. And not to be saying the force, the senior management of the force is in crisis. Is in crisis and they don't want to admit it. If you come back to the promotion list over a month now, the promotion list, the lion promotion list, where the extended squatter start off in the preamble by saying the senior promotion board met, and then he identified the persons who were there. And my information, confirmed information from reliable source, said that 2 of the persons who were named there were not at that meeting. One was out of the country. That is easy to find out. And it wasn't a virtual meeting because he said in the document they were present at the commissioner's conference room when this meeting was a lying document. That is what they do all the time. They lie. So this recommendation is held up somewhere. Yes, Petal is joked down, Pajram. But let me say this to you. As I've said to many officers, you go there, you have nothing to do all day to do it. You are not a dunce. You are not a dunce. I know, I taught you at university with the same extended squad. You all were part of my class, right? Public safety and security. So no, you're not dunce. I even think you've been to QC. I think that is the information. You're not dunce. Study. Once you start to study, let me tell you what's going to happen next. Once you start to study there, you take the time, do some masters or something there, they're going to send you somewhere far. They're going to be envious. They're going to send you somewhere far. That is what is going on. Right? That is what is going on. But look at it as an opportunity to read and to educate yourself further. Read and educate yourself further. You are fairly young, and therefore you can make use of this opportunity to learn policing in particular. Learn police work. Because you can't go to the University of Guyana and learn police work. Learn police work. You have a lot of people around with knowledge and experience. Not me and Conway, because we are person and grata. Right? Not me and Conway. You have a lot of people. Lean on them and let them tell you what is going on. A lot of these issues are occurring because those who are there in senior positions don't understand. They don't know police work. And I say again, I see the 10 that says somebody gone to head reform. The police force, the Guyana police force, cannot be reformed once certain people remain in the current positions they are. You get a man who is accused of complicit in money laundering. You got a man who is actually accused of money laundering. Senior people. You got a black senior man who is accused of accepting $30 million to cover up a murder. Those are the accusations out there. You have a lot of other senior accusations. Are you telling me you're going to reform the force with them people that are still in the force? Can't happen. Cannot happen. They have to go. They have to go. I told Gail to share that many years ago, around 2004, when I was leading the reform. And I told her that for a police force to be properly, I put it this way, a reformed police force has no place for certain people, and I call the name. They have to go. And I said to her, you're not going to deprive them of their benefits, early retirement, and something, let it go off so that you can get new people, new blood, honest, hardworking, dedicated people who are not stigmatized. You have to get them there because you have to develop trust in the public's trust. And how are you going to develop public trust when a man is accused of money laundering? Senior police officer get run-ins at established company. Your wife get company supplying things to the store. hundreds of millions of dollars. What type of reform you can have when those people are still there? You cannot be successful in any reform. I'm coming back to this prisoner state thing before I hand over to Mr. Conway again that they're talking about. It is absolutely important. As Mr. Conway said, you have stations, I don't know if they still have it now, that are designated stations for female prisoners. You have to ensure that you know the state so that females are on duty all the time. You cannot have females in a lockup and only men on duty. Can't work. Let's open yourself for all sort of problems. Your facilities were designated to as juvenile facilities. Same thing. Same thing. You have got to check your prisoner state. I did break down the biggest lockup in the country, prisoner state, 30, 40 prisoners. You look to see what they are there for. Sometimes these clever detectives, they bring in a man and you see book for RUA. RUA is robbery under arms. All right, where was this thing? Where occurred? Where it occurred? Let me see the entries. Nothing to support. Nothing. But they know that if you book a man for investigation into alleged murder or robbery under arms, people are going to be reluctant to release them just like that. But I used to get involved. I go down to the lockup myself. As stink as it was, I go down to the lockup. And here was the story. You never ask a prisoner what you did. I never ask a prisoner what he did. And I say, "Boy, come. What them say you do? Listen to me. Listen to me. You don't ask a prisoner what you did. Because he never did anything wrong. So I used to, "Boy, what you there for? What they say you do? What they say you do?" And then you can say, "Well, let's say I robbed somebody, and that is not so and so." And that is the only way you can get an answer. You got to understand the language, how to command. You have to understand how to command. Never, ask a man what you do. Even policemen, when they're accused of anything, say, "Boy, what they say you do? What did they say that you do?" And then you're gonna open a conversation and you're gonna hear what is going on. But that is so vital and so critical. And that is why you find in past couple of months, 2 prisoners died in lockup, one at Lethem, one somewhere in Bobby's, I think it is, because these rules are not being followed. The standing order is there, how to deal with these people, but either they don't know, or even when they violate the standing orders, the discipline. I said discipline in the force has broken down. Charge sheet and thing, the people, the officers there, and the sergeant and the inspector, they don't know the process, and therefore they prefer to turn a blind eye when ranks transgress. Now, if you turn a blind eye when ranks transgress and ranks know they're doing the wrong thing and they're getting away with it, they're going to continue to do it. No discipline is there. Nothing is there. So it's a comprehensive overall, the force needs a comprehensive. And you got to start, in my view, you got to start with Ben, the Minister of Home Affairs, who is there as a decoration, wild decoration. Minister of Home Affairs, Ben, appears to be useless with all what's going on. And as Mr. Conway pointed out a while ago, 2 assistant commissioners get into a tiff. The man in charge, the extended squatter, the acting commissioner, extended squatter, got to call the 2 assistant commissioners. Y'all come to my office at sunset time. Put that down. What really going on with the 2 y'all? Let me hear. And you have got to intervene and resolve the matter. You have got to intervene. I remember, let me tell you all, I was assistant commissioner of division, and Henry Green was the man at crime. He was a deputy commissioner in charge of crime. And we had an issue where he reported at a meeting that something to do with the patrols. They had patrols, and the patrols from CID, he had instructed them not to report the operations room with them. And I made a nice about it. I said, because this can't work. Because if they're patrolling in a division, the operations room need to know, regardless of where they come from, whether CID, TSU, they got to know. And then Green said, "Well, you never called me." I said, "But look," and this is true. I said, "I attempted to call you many times, and I can't get through to you. You are the most difficult man to get through to." And he took umbrage. And he said I was rude to him. Remember, he was senior, deputy commissioner and assistant commissioner. And Mr. Winston Felix, who was a commissioner, called me, the 2 of us, to his office. Called me and Green to his office. And I apologized to Green. Of course, the apology wasn't sincere. But to make the matter done, I said, "Man, look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean any disrespect. or so. And I said, can't be in your squad. I said, squad, I didn't mean any disrespect. And so when I told him, I said, but I'm telling you, it is true. You're difficult to get through to. You're difficult. 2 to 3, 38, 40 or something. That was the number. You can't get through, man. You got to do something better. I say, all right, man, all right, man. That is the way those matters are dealt with. That is the way. But big letter writing and all them type of thing. And but I ain't going to say nothing more about the letter writing part. Let me bring you back, Mr. Conway. CC, over to you again.
All right. I agree with what you're saying there. Um, well, they are changing special project unit, to strategic planning unit, SPU they call it, and then they establish another one called strategic implementation for police reform. And let me touch a bit on that. So, Pastor has gone to the strategic planning unit, and Superintendent Kendall was there. They took it down and put the strategic implementation for police reform. Remember that they get you jumping body place there? She been trained in school, she been all about the place, and then they get you jumping body place there. Now, coming back to this strategic thing, the police get on paper what they call a strategic plan 2022 to 2026 on paper. What they did, they cut and paste. Remember, Capital Simmons had a strategic plan 2011 to 2015. So they cut and paste and do their own thing. I can't say they plagiarize because they think they. And they put it on what you call Capital Simmons had five planks: operational priority, people, performance, partnership, and infrastructure. Remember, I get three P's there. Let me go over operational priorities, people, performance, partnership, and infrastructure. Well, the police, they tweak. They add in another one called accountability. But when you look at the strategic plan, what they got, it's not smart. The little like they did on the strategic management is that they say you gotta be smart, you gotta be specific, you gotta be measurable, you gotta be achievable, you gotta be realistic, and you gotta be task oriented. And it's not that. So Kendall is now in charge of strategic implementation for police reform. And let me read a bit about this Capital Simmons strategic plan that they submitted to the police. I was part of it. Paul, you were part of it. And they talk about risks. They said the Ghana Police Force will develop a strategic risk management plan to identify mitigation measures and monitor each risk's ongoing relevance as well as identify emerging risks. Such a risk be re- Should a risk be realized, then this may mean that the objectives and targets as set out in the strategic plan may not be achieved, and or the achievement will be lessened or delayed. So this strategic plan, what I got, it's top secret. It's more secret than the RAS report. Few people know about it. If you ask the divisional commander about the police strategy plan, he can't tell you. If you ask the sub-unit officer, they can't tell you. If you ask the station sergeant, they can't tell you. If you ask the sub-unit officer, they can't tell you. If you ask the constable, they can't tell you what. They are not au fait with what the police call the strategic plan. Since 2022, and so far, I haven't heard about one goal that they have achieved, one milestone that they passed. They just get it there, and now and again, the extended squatter and his partner who then financial irregularities would talk about it, and now and again, the man from Home Affairs would say something about it. But there are some risks that the person that the Capital Simmons had mentioned. There are about 25 of them. And let me read a couple for you. Here it's and this is reality. This is in 2011 they wrote this. And some of these things are relevant today. They say there will be a lack of suitable equipment for officers of the GPF to meet new and emerging challenges, increase marine air capacity, improve vehicles, etc. Next, there will be an increase in legislation that brings about further demands on the GPF. The Ministry of Home Affairs does not have a strategic plan which gives overall direction to the GPS strategic plan. However, the Ministry of Home Affairs is in the process of developing a strategic plan. Managers in the GPF will not be equipped to deal with the new and emerging challenges arising from modernization. We're facing that. Then the introduction of the GPF modernization program, example, introduction of new computers, may mean that temporarily officers will be diverted from frontline duties, thereby having an impact on performance. Here is one. New and emerging crimes will divert resources to tackle other activities as set out in the plan. There will be insufficient succession planning to ensure that skilled resources are in place to deliver the plan. An escalation of serious criminal or public order activities that prevent the involvement of the GPS staff in delivering the objectives and targets as set out in the strategic plan. Staff of the GPS may be resistant to change so that the activities outlined in the plan may not be achieved or will be delayed. The skills and abilities of staff of the GPF will be insufficient to implement or will delay delivery of the strategic plan. This one is very current. Alleged and perceived corruption within the GPF will adversely affect public trust and confidence in the police force. The GPF will have to respond to an increased threat from terrorism, which will divert resources away from delivering the plan. And let me find some other one here. An increase in the economy of Guyana may increase the demands of the GPF, which cannot be managed with existing resources. And this last one we're going to give you. There may be implications for the nature and type of criminality in Guyana as a result of an increase in the population or an influx of non-Guyanese national. So they have on paper, I think it's 101 pages, what they call as a strategic plan. But all is just bluff and still more bluff. And they'll have risks. And I want them to go back to what Capital Simmons had written in terms of doing the risks and the risk analysis so that, if they want to implement anything, but they can't implement anything. All they're doing is talking and talking and talking. Maybe we'll have to set aside a whole session, a whole episode to deal with the strategic plan that the police force set against. And I highlight the nation about what they call as a strategic plan. Because when they get there, can't work. They cut a pace and they don't have the capability, they don't have the know, they don't have the persons to really deal with a strategic plan, a 5-year strategic plan.
Because a proper strategic plan would require the removal immediately of people who are there, including the squatter. Because you had a proper succession plan. The president would not extend it indefinitely, even in the face of all that is going on, even in the face of daily issues. The man there down there, and the man sailing. The man is sailing. Remember, let me tell you, the man sailing. Remember, the man lying. The man lying. Remember what?
Guyana's acting commissioner of police Clifton Hicken today laid to rest claims that his deputy commissioner of police acting Calvin Brutus is on the investigation by the Special Organized Crime Unit. Hicken spoke with reporters on the sidelines of the first legal conference on criminal justice reform at the Marriott Hotel in Georgetown.
It's about Mr. Brutus and the multi-million dollar deposits. Is it true or not?
No, it's not true. And I made a release already through our system.
You didn't see that?
Yeah, I made a release. It's in the system. There was no investigation going on whatsoever.
And no deposits?
Nothing whatsoever.
Okay, thank you.
Brutus, who
that alone, I say that alone. Lie. King liar. You lie? He's a posse. He say, if you tell a lie, you're going to hell as soon as you die. That's how them got to go before. Lie. So if you talk about strategic planning and strategic implementation, you can't have a man who lying to the public, who himself is accused of being complicit in money laundering. Because remember, let me remind you what I'm talking about. When the same thing that he said never took place, the Brutus matter, where Brutus lodged $16.5 million. When he learned, the allegation is that when he learned of it, he called the ranks because the people returned the money to Brutus. He called them, he berated them, in other words, he bucked them up and had them transferred immediately. And that, I say, is complicity in this money laundering allegation. And for that, he should have been sent home same time. He and Brutus, who I understand are related, should hold one another and walk out the office at the same time. Right? And then to come publicly and to say that no money was lodged when he knew that that is a lie. And to say that no investigation is taking place when he know that is lie. Right? That publicly said so. It's not somebody saying that he said so. I played it so you can hear it from his own voice, his own words. That's what's going on. And the race into lie, you got a big race among them. Let me play one here. I know y'all going to vex when y'all hear it, but I'm going to play it for y'all, and then I'm going to talk about it. You ain't going to long move. But let me play it. I hope I get the right clip here.
United States, when you go into the United States of America, you have to satisfy them that you're not a threat to their existence and you can enter. They want additional information as a tool to provide additional information. They can request your phone. Whatever they find on your phone, it could be, they can use it. We can't seize Guyanese people's phone here. We can't seize their phones in Guyana because our citizens have a different right. We don't seize their phone just like that and say, open up your phone. They do that when you go into their border because they have a different set of laws.
You're lying? You're lying? Oh, and now only last week they got to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Although it's a phone, it extends to electronic devices. It's only last week, big controversy which hasn't died down as yet, where Dharmlal, the rape accused, made a report. Up to now, they can't say how this report was made, whether he went there in person, whether he called somebody. They ranked from the CID headquarters, it is said, it is alleged, went to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and seized the laptop computer of one of the officers there. Balram, I think her name is. And took her, arrested her, and took her to CID headquarters. Jack Dio telling you last week or whenever it was, I think it's last week or before the last, whenever we had this program, that we don't seize devices. They do that in the U.S. In the U.S., they reserve the right, the Custom and Border people, that if you go in there and they do an investigation, they can ask to see your phone, as they did, and they can seize your phone, as they did to Caesar, the head of the major crime unit, as they did to May Thomas, the PS, where they seized your phone and revoked your visa and all of that. Only recently, in this corruption allegation, the money laundering allegation, Soku went to the police credit union. It is alleged that they arrested 3 ranks, seized the phone to try to find out who leaking information. More recent than that, they went to some ministry, I think it's a jail ministry or some other ministry, and seized people's phone because information they claim was leaked. And Jack Dio telling people, oh, we don't do that in Guyana. Did they have a warrant to seize the computer from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs? Did they have a warrant to seize those ranks' phone, the ranks from the police credit union? So I play that for you to see how these people lie. And you got to continue to expose the lie. There's a matter only recently, a lawyer wrote in the newspaper where police went into his client's place to search. And when the man asked them if they got warrant, they said, look, you got to report to police complaints authority if you want. No warrant. And here it is, the Vice President Jack Dio telling people, oh, the U.S. will seize the phone if they get things and so on. And the U.S. people, and what he's referring to there, even though he doesn't say it, at the border, if you're entering, they have a right to, they have a legal right to examine your electronic device. The U.S. authorities, they're not going to a person's home or office to seize any electronic device without a warrant. They dare not do it. That they're not police officers, FBI, local, state, or federal doing an investigation. They have to be covered with a warrant. They can't go into nobody's home and even conduct any search or so on. Because one of the things there, apart from it being illegal, the courts are going to suppress whatever evidence is gathered. And they know that. And they're going to open themselves for litigation, so they don't do it. So y'all don't worry what Jack was saying. Let me bring in Mr. Carrier for closing remarks, and then I'm going to close and we're going to hustle to this funeral. CC, your closing remarks.
Yeah, it's all right, and when I did legal issues for a commander at the FBI, and I always remember the term they use, the forbidden fruit of the poisonous tree. That when you go legally and then in court, the lawyer going to successfully petition for that evidence to be suppressed. And although I'm surprised that they're really not doing it in Guyana, that the lawyers are not too aggressive in the area where they just come in and search a place, or they just saying, hey, that the person you requested to search and the person agree and they search and they find X, Y, and Z as the case may be. But Paul, we need to, continue to press on. Brutus' case, I don't know if he or his wife or the mother-in-law, the allegation were that they were supplying stuff to the police. I don't know if they still continue to supply stuff for the police. We don't know where the allegation has gone to. We don't know where Brutus is. But, we know what Suko is doing, all those things, there's no transparency. Therefore, the public confidence in the police, the very little that they have there is dwindling.
Oh yes, right, brother. Let me thank you much. Let me close off. I know you have to go get dressed and go to this funeral. I myself have to log on. Two things. Let me read. Let me read for us what the former Attorney General Bernard DeSantis said about your DPP. I gotta keep reminding you all, Bernard DeSantis wrote to the acting chancellor some time ago. And hear what he said. One of the matters which has been suspected by members of the criminal bar for some time is that the acting director of public prosecutions, whose husband is a Muslim cleric, cannot divorce our religion from our professional duties. Let me read that back. This is Bernard DeSantis. For those younger ones who don't know, Bernard DeSantis Senior Counsel was the first Attorney General when PPP came back into office in 1992. He served for a full term. And then I think when he demitted, when they went back to election, I think Do Not Sing took over from him. But Bernard DeSantis at cause, this is the matter involving the NBS, the New Build Society people. And Bernard DeSantis wrote to the acting chancellor to say, one of the matters which has been suspected by members in the criminal bar for some time is that the acting director of public prosecutions, whose husband is a Muslim cleric, cannot divorce our religion from our professional duties. That should have caused her to go. Are we talking about in a bar? He's speaking, the man from the criminal bar, he's speaking about the lawyers who practice criminal law. And he's saying that they suspected that the director of public prosecutions, whose husband is a Muslim cleric, cannot divorce our religion from our professional duties. And then he said, in the instant case, Mrs. Acht, prior to charges being instituted against my client, held a meeting at the headquarters of the Central Islamic Organization of Guyana, which was attended inter alia by her husband and a Muslim member of staff of the New Building Society, at which meeting the affairs of the New Building Society were discussed as they pertain to the loss of money, which later formed the basis of the charges. It is an open secret that Mistress Acht's husband has played a major role in the matter. My Lord, I'm going to continue to bring these things to your attention. I am going to continue. And don't forget what GHK Lal said. GHK Lal said what we have today is not a government, but a gang of gangsters. For the most part, what Guyanese have for leaders today are nothing but out of control lunatics, pathological liars. I tell you all about it. You heard some lies just now. Unreconstructed racists and political sadists. That is what GHK Lal said, and I agree with his assessment. I agree with assessment. Folks, as I said, students, we have to leave early today because we have this funeral. Again, I remind you that Mr. Ransford, good luck, is being buried today. The funeral service, right now, the body should be at Police Post Club for viewing, and the funeral service is at Christ Church on Waterloo Street, starting at 1 o'clock. So that is all we're going to deal with for today. Right, let me remind you, I have the invitation is still out. Those of you who want to learn something about financial literacy, I told you I went to this convention in Las Vegas in earlier last month, and I am still, some people have reached out, quite a few persons have reached out, and I have found the time to impart the little knowledge that I've acquired, and they are very appreciative of that. So those of you who want to benefit from it, and I'm talking about people who live in America primarily and Canada, you want, just hit me up, and I'm going to try to find the time. Time is tight, but I'm going to try to find the time to bring you that invaluable information. So, folks, I don't know, the next scheduled program is Monday. As I've said, I always try to keep it flexible. Something comes up, we are likely to jump on. So the only way you're going to know is if you subscribe to the channel, and if you hit the notification button. If you like the page on Facebook, then the channel to subscribe to is on YouTube, because I'm still encountering people who would say, oh, I could get to the show, man. I hear about the show. Oh, you have to tell them. People don't assume that people know, and you have to tell them, and people are logging on. This morning, we had record. Well, not record, but we had a very large number of students on the live, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, multiple hundreds of students. Even in the schoolyard, we had over almost 200 students sitting. There's a large number by any measure. And therefore, I say to you, until we reach again, God's willing, it is now scheduled for Monday, but we may very well come before, we don't know. So just stay tuned and stay well, stay safe. Accidents, we haven't spoken about that in a while. Dengue, fever, people talking about it, people are dying in Guyana about it. So stay well until we meet again for another episode. Until then, bye.